Hello, my name is John Rose, and in this video I'm going to teach you guys how to lose those last 5 pounds. And I got good news for you. It's going to be more than 5 pounds, and you don't have to run around the park 10 more times. And if you're in Houston at Memorial Park, that'd be another 30 miles a day. In fact, you could run another 30 miles a day and you'll never lose those last 5 pounds. And the reason is because it isn't fat. And you'll never lose that by exercising. It's only one way to get rid of it, and that's to flush out your pipes, because that's where that weight is at. Now, how do I know that? Well, I know it from experience. I was writing a book on weight loss 28 years ago. 2 years into my research, I stumbled upon a library of knowledge. I'm not teaching anybody. Some of what they said sounded too good to be true, and I tried it. In fact, I thought to myself, if a fraction of it's true, I'd be a first-class fool not to prove this to myself. So I did it. I'd already made another change in my diet and saw the improvement in it, and it was worth the diet change because it was such a better improvement in my performance. But this other idea was something a little bit different. And when I did it, within 1 week, I had a light bulb moment. And now I teach people how to do this, and you can click right here and go to a seminar of how to do what I've done almost 1,200 days in the last 24 years. And the thing about me is I documented every bit of it. Now, when I say that, I started off by keeping track of everything I ate and all my exercise. That's how I started writing a book on weight loss. I could prove mathematically how to lose fat because I wanted my fat fuel tank as low as I could get it and my carbohydrate fuel tank as high as I could get it. I didn't want to hit the wall, which is what happens when you run out of carbohydrates. You don't want to do that as an athlete. So I figured out mathematically how to do that. And then that's what made me want to write a book on weight loss, because I could help people lose weight. But then when I was doing my research, I found this other library of knowledge that makes it a whole lot simpler. And it was very humbling for me to realize that I was barking up the wrong tree. But this other approach made a lot of sense. And when I did my very first juice fast, which is my specialty, within 1 week, I told you I had that light bulb moment. What happened? Lost 5 pounds in 1 week, and I only had 5.8% body fat. I only had about 9 pounds of fat on me. And of course, my concern was, my God, I'm a world-class athlete. I'm exercising 78 hours every day. Not taking 1 day off. I kept track of everything. I know exactly what I was doing. In fact, I've documented everything I've eaten for the last 30 years to this day, and even my exercise. And I started out because I was a world-class athlete, and I wanted to make sure I didn't run out of fuel. And as a result, I was in great shape. I was had a 41-inch chest and a 31-inch waist, and then I do my first juice fast. And what happens in 1 week? I lose 5 pounds, and I knew it wasn't muscle I was losing, because I was having things coming out of me every day. And I'm going, oh my God, you know, I spent 1,500 hours perfecting this mathematical procedure. Spent, 2 to 4 hours every day on an average, keeping track of the 7-8 hours of exercise, the 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 calories I was eating. Figured out how to match them using my degree in accounting, which taught me how to match the money in and money out. Why I applied that to calories. I came up with a very scientific way of analyzing this information. And I spent a lot of time doing all that. It never occurred to me to document what came out of me until the light bulb went off over my head. And I realized, God, I should have been keeping track of what came out of me. Who would ever think of doing that? Well, since I was writing a book on weight loss, and since I was keeping track and spent so much time analyzing the calories in and calories out, I thought, well, maybe I'll keep track of what goes in and what comes out. And that's exactly what I've done for almost 1,200 days in the last 24 years. So I can go back and look at any one of my fasts that I've been on and tell you exactly what happened to me on any day, exactly what I consumed, how many calories it was, how much came out of me, how much it weighed. I documented it. I'm a scientist. That's what I do. Now, why would I do that? My God, why wouldn't I do it? When you find filth like that coming out of you, don't you want to know as much about it as you can? Don't you think that's going to cause some problems? My God, let me tell you, when that stuff starts coming out of you, you feel like $1 million. So I started weighing everything. Within the first 2 years, I had done this on 6 different occasions, twice pretty long, 30 days. And I finally said to myself, John, why you stopping on day 30? When you're still having things coming out of you and it's looking like the rubber off the tire of my car. It was black and hard and rubbery. You can see definitions and grooves, how it was entrenched in the intestines somewhere. And the 7th time I said, let's go the distance. So I went the distance. I went till I stopped eliminating. It took me 3 months. Most exciting 90 days of my life. After a couple of weeks, I was like a little kid at Christmas time going to bed, but it wasn't to wake up, to open up my presents. It was to wake up and have a bowel movement and see what kind of stuff would come out of me. Because the more of that stuff that came out of me, the better I felt. And I'm telling you, my friends, you have no idea how much I had inside me and all the different shapes and the ways it came out of me. It was just unbelievable. I actually weighed 45 pounds when it came out. I lost 20 pounds on the scale, so I didn't have 5 pounds to lose. I thought I had none, but I had a 20-pound cesspool inside me that I had to rehydrate by drinking a couple gallons of juice every day, and that's why I weighed 45 pounds coming out of me. Now, what had happened to me is I damaged my colon. And as long as I'd adhere to a natural diet, I didn't have any problems. But as soon as I deviated and violated certain basic laws when it comes to nutrition, I would fill up those bad spots again. And how do I know? Because I've done this 139 different times. And in the beginning, it was only because I wasn't eating perfect. And so what would happen is I would clean my system out, eat perfect, didn't have a problem. All of a sudden, I'd eat something that wasn't good, and it would somehow get back into those spots. Now, how did I know that? Because I couldn't get it out any other way of eating. I had to stop eating and give myself a vacation so I didn't waste any energy processing anything, even if it was the perfect food, so that all the energy would go to that stuff that was still in there. And sure enough, it would come out, and it looked just like the other stuff, but you could tell this has only been in for a week or two or 4 or 5 weeks, however long it took me to get back on there and get it out, as opposed to the other stuff that had been in there, some of it decades. So how do you lose the last 5 pounds? Don't focus on fat. Focus on cleaning out your system. And when you clean out your colon, you'll clean out your lymph system. And that's how the waste matter gets into the cells. See, all of our cells are surrounded by lymph fluid. So how do our organs get stressed? Why do we feel pain anywhere? It's the waste matter going into the organ. Pain is part of our feedback system. It's one of the 5 symptoms of inflammation. So one of the first things an organ does to get rid of things inside of it that doesn't belong there, it creates an inflammation. What are the symptoms? One of them is pain. So anytime you feel pain anywhere, that means you've got garbage in that part of your body. Or something in there that doesn't belong there. Now, you could have something be jabbed into you. That doesn't belong there. It's going to hurt too, right? How about a splinter? My God. How much does that hurt? And how good does it feel coming out? I'm telling you, my friends, when you do this, you won't believe the euphoria you'll feel. You're not just going to flush out a cesspool that doesn't belong in there, but you're also going to bump up the coherent sunlight energy that we're supposed to store in the nucleus of our cells. It's called a biophoton. Google Dr. Fritz Albert Popp and biophotons, and you'll find the research he's been doing. And he says, look, every living system out there, everything with a eukaryotic cell, every plant, animal, and fungus out there stores this sunlight energy in their cells, and that's how cells communicate. How else could cells communicate? How do cell phones communicate? Think of a biophoton as a little miniature cell phone inside your cell. You all got cell phones, but you ain't got any reception, or your batteries are low. Your biophoton levels are low. This is the problem with humanity. So we have something inside of us that doesn't belong there. I coined that condition hypercolonic tension, which leads to hyperlymphatic tension. And the hyperlymphatic tension is what directly causes virtually all of our inflammations and ulcerations and ultimately indurations and even the tumors and cysts and fibroids and nodules and calcifications. It comes from the lymph system. And it all begins when we don't put the right food in our body. When we pollute our intestines, it pollutes the blood, it pollutes the kidneys become damaged, they don't filter the lymph system gets waste matter inside of it, so there's too much pressure inside the lymph system, there's too much pressure inside of our colon, waste matter is going back out into the body now. And what we can actually do, if you do my program, is we can actually, by way of a retrograde flow, we can turn our colon into an alternative channel of elimination. Much in the same way our body will choose the skin or the nose or the sinuses or the lungs as an alternative channel of elimination. Well, we can use the colon too if you stop putting food in it, go on a solid food vacation, click here, and go to my seminar, and do the first of my 3-step process, just on a temporary basis so you can see what you're missing, and then be in a better position to correct these 5 main mistakes on a permanent basis. You see, this is the problem that virtually all of us have. Very few of us are in a position to evaluate what we're doing and what we need to do because we've never done what I'm talking about. So you want to do something you've never done before. Go where few have gone. Climb the unexplored mountain. Rise above the ideas of the time. Stop gliding with the stream of the crowd. Test an idea his time has come. And play your role as one of the guardians on this planet that you're meant to be. Become a trim tab. Be the first wave of heroes. And prove this to yourself. Share this information. Let's make this idea go viral. Find someone that's important that has a lot of subscribers and share this information with them. If you're influential and you know someone, help them give money away to the right cause. All you philanthropists out there who are giving millions, if not more money, to find a cure for cancer are actually part of the problem. You're perpetuating the problem. You're giving the problem energy. We don't want to support a system that doesn't work. In the same way, we don't want health insurance. Financing health insurance is a blunder upon a blunder. We don't have a health system. If we had a health system, that would be different. But we don't. It's a disease care system. So we don't want to finance that system. So everything we do in that direction is actually harmful. If you care about breast cancer and you go run for runs or multiple sclerosis and you do these charity events and earn money, you're actually causing problems. You're giving energy to the wrong direction. There are no cures for any of these diseases because the disease is the name of the symptom. Don't name the symptom. Go back to the cause. What is the cause? We're eating the wrong food. It's simple. Stop eating it. How do we do it? Stop eating completely. That's why my first step addresses the willingness issue. It's too hard to say, I'll eat more of the good and less of the bad. Good luck. You can eat all the good for a long time and all of a sudden one slip undoes the wine many make. And that's a slippery habit to break. So how do you break these habits? You unwind the cable. How do you do that? You take back control of your life. How do you do that? You give yourself a solid food vacation. So go to my seminar, click here, and do the first of my three-step process. If you've already done this, tell everybody you know about it. Don't give up. I know it's discouraging. My God, I've been doing this for 26 years. And I'm just as passionate today as I was when I began. How can I not be? Reminds me of Jack LaLanne when he was on The Tonight Show with his wife, Elaine. And Johnny finally interjected and asked his wife, Elaine, saying, is he always this excited? And Jack interjected, well, what would you do if you found out how to save someone's life? Wouldn't you get excited too? Of course you would. And don't get discouraged because we're asking people to change and a lot of people aren't ready. So the best you can do is be an example. Be the change you wish to see. Help other people realize that if they're waiting for someone to come along and save the day, tell them to go run in the bathroom and look in the mirror. That's where the answers are. We are the enemy, but we are also the ones we've been waiting for. And it begins by getting all of us, or enough of us, to do the first of my three-step process so we can reach the tipping point. If we don't reach the tipping point, things will never change. We've got to get at least 10% of the population to do something that's already been done by Bill Bright. He had 14 million people doing this back in 1997. Won $1 million award in 1996 called the Templeton Award. You can search this. Brilliant idea. Want to get 1 million Christians to juice fast like Jesus fasted on water. Have you ever noticed how many very smart people water fasted and then shared that message? But anyway, Bill Bright within 1 year had 14 million people worldwide. Now, did you hear about it? No. Why not? It's simple. The people who rule the world own every major sector of human endeavor. That includes the media. And that's why every one of us are brainwashed to commit atrocities, or we're brainwashed to believe in absurdities, so we'll commit atrocities. That's the sad reality of this life, is just about every one of us have been conditioned before we had the ability for critical thinking to believe in absurdities just so we could commit these atrocities, and it's by design. Because if we commit these atrocities, we'll be out of control and we'll need control, and that's how they got us. So don't try to defeat those who think they're getting the best of us, because we all lose in this game. The only way to defeat them is to realize they are a reflection of us. And I've gone over this many times in other videos, but it's worth going over again because there's a lot of people working downstream, but they're doing it the wrong way. Click here and you can go to a video where I explain there are three ways to use the wrong approach. And also, there are 4 ways we work downstream. And we work downstream the wrong way when that's all we do. So most people that are conspiracy theorists, they know that there's a bad part of us doing certain things, and they think the solution is just tell everybody about what they're doing. Well, all that does is it just gets us up one level in Plato's cave. See, there are many levels in Plato's cave. A lot of people go up a level and think they're out of the cave. No, you got to figure out, that doesn't get you out of the cave. The ultimate answer to everything is the ultimate answer to anything is the ultimate answer to everything. So a lot of people think they have the ultimate answer, but then you got to stop and think, well, does that solve this problem? Does that solve that problem? No, it doesn't. My solution does, because it's the only solution. It's not my solution, it is the solution. And that is, we got to satisfy 2 groups of needs. But most of us are not willing and able to do that, which is why I added these 2 preliminary steps, thereby perfecting a 3-step process. The first step addresses the willingness issue. That's where my first step comes into play. And you can click here, do my program, and share the message. And as I've said so many times, when you do this, you're in for a treat.